And as we told you earlier, one of the main speakers at the Women's March in St. Paul yesterday was Congresswoman Betty McCollum, and she joins us now. Thank you so much for coming in.
It's great to be here, and it was a great day yesterday.
Well, let me ask you, because you were one of the main speakers, obviously, what was your reaction, and when did you first realize how big this thing was? Because the projection was 20,000 people.
Well, when I walked down to St. Paul Technical College and heard the stories of people having to get on the bus blocks and blocks away, people not finding places to park. We could kind of see a little bit people walking over from the light rail, and we just watched the crowd get larger and larger along the parade route that we were going to walk, because there was no room for them where we were. We knew it was going to be a big event, but it was an event filled of great optimism of women and men coming together to make sure that women's rights, our human rights, are protected in the new administration.
All right, and I know you worked very hard on Hillary Clinton's campaign. You were at many, many events that I covered here in Minnesota. Donald Trump tweeted this morning, "Watch protests yesterday, but under the impression that we just had an election. Why didn't these people vote?" This is President Donald Trump tweeting this morning. Does he have a point?
Well, he needs to be presidential. He needs to be bringing people together, and the people I was with in Minnesota, they did get out and vote. So it was very, very insulting for many of those voters who were there, people who I ran into who worked on the election, that, you know, we weren't participating in our democracy. So the protests, the demonstrations, another way to show our solidarity as Minnesotans, to say that we have a certain expectation, and that's not to go backwards in women's rights to health care, women's rights at the workplace, and we're going to make sure that our voices are heard.
But what the president seems to be referring to is the passion that we saw yesterday. I mean, the turnout in Ramsey County was actually where you are, St. Paul, down 2% this presidential election compared with 4 years ago. And in conservative areas of the state, it was up. What is that about?
I'll be the first to say, and I've said this publicly before, I think the Clinton campaign didn't run a good campaign in Minnesota. They took Minnesota for granted. But we also didn't have a statewide race to unify around with either a senator or a governor's race. That changes in 2018, and so in 2018, hang on to your hats. The Democrats are going to be out in full force.
All right, well, let me ask you, and for those who could hear you in that crowd, because I'm sure it was so big many couldn't, you said we are not going to roll over and allow Donald Trump to take away our rights. We are going to fight to defend our rights. We are in a fight. We will not back down, and we will not be stopped. How do you do that with a Republican president, and you're in the minority not only in the House but the Senate as well?
You know, when it comes to women's rights, when it comes to women not paying more for their health care, when it comes to women being able to access contraception, when it comes to your paycheck, which affects your family's overall income, it isn't about being a Democrat, and it isn't about being a Republican or an independent. It's about being a woman. It's about being treated with respect. And so women's voices are going to be heard loud and clear at the White House.
All right. But Congresswoman, I was at the rally at the Twin Cities International Airport 2 days before the election when Donald Trump was there, made a last-minute stop. Half of the people in that crowd were women. It was not dominated by men. Obviously, women helped put Donald Trump in the White House, too.
I'm sure there were women who voted for Donald Trump who don't think that they really were voting for a president who was going to say that it was okay to pay women less. I'm sure that those women in the crowd want themselves and their daughters to have access to affordable contraception. So there might have been many reasons why they might have been supporting President Trump. But I'm sure when it comes to their personal health care, when it comes to their paycheck, that they will be of one voice with women all across this country, and that is women's rights are human's rights.
Are you saying that there might be some buyer's remorse? I mean, certainly the poll numbers for the president are not great right now.
Well, I have ran into many Republicans, and there were Republican women at the march identifying themselves as Republicans, who were saying that they need to make sure that their rights don't go backwards. You know, many of the millennials that were there are just, they thought, you know, access to contraception, equal pay for equal work, they thought that that was the law. And they're waking up realizing that those are privileges that have been granted to them, not rights that are solidly enshrined in our Constitution or in our laws. And so this is a call out to the younger generation of women that what they were taking for granted can be taken away.
All right. Well, Congresswoman Betty McCollum, thank you so much for joining us after that big rally yesterday in St. Paul.
Thanks.